We are speaking with Dr. Dina Lisnyansky, a senior researcher from Tel Aviv University's Dayan Center and a member of Forum Dvorah. So it looks like the ceasefire in Lebanon is already dead. Is this the deliberate aim of Hizbullah to keep up attacks in order to derail any political progress in the talks between Israel and the government of Lebanon?
Well, Mark, first of all, this would be a direct interest of the Hizbullah. Also, there were direct orders from Iran on that matter. Hizbullah is basically losing its political dominance in Lebanon for the past year, or past a year and a half, I would say, from the previous ceasefire. And we do understand that their main purpose now is to repurpose their own forces from political force to a military force. Right now, we are seeing that militarily, Hizbullah is retaining core capabilities. They are using new weapons. For instance, the last attacks involved suicide drone attacks, which is something that they learned from the IRGC. And we need to understand that during the previous ceasefire, the IRGC had enough time to send over 100 commanders to replace the commanders that were killed or injured during the pager attack on September 2024, and they were training Hizbullah, they were moving to a higher training when they were training them to use also these specific drones, just the same way they are being used in Ukraine by Russia. So we are talking about the same weapons that are being used in a war that goes on from the year of 2022. Now they're being used against Israeli soldiers of the IDF in Lebanon by Hizbullah. So this is a new and very dangerous tactic that could actually change a lot in Hizbullah's understanding of the war. Also, the fact that Israel is basically maintaining its part of the ceasefire is not a good thing for us. We need to understand that we need to get back to fighting really fast. This specific ceasefire is not only being used as a ceasefire for the diplomatic talks between Lebanon and Israel. It is also used as a part of a broader maneuver by Donald Trump against, we understand that this war against Iran and this war against, not just Iran, but now this regional war is basically one of the arenas to the more broader war between China and the U.S. I'm speaking, of course, about the trade economic war that goes on now. So the specific arena of Iran and now the specific arena of Lebanon are being used as a part of this broader maneuver. We need to understand that as well. And this makes Israel a bit of a pawn in this war. So we are being drawn into a maneuver that we really don't want to be a part of, meaning the ceasefire itself. So yes, maybe the ceasefire is dead de facto, but someone needs to say it. Someone needs to declare it, so we would be able to come back and start fighting again.
We believe that the Lebanese government would like to rein in Hizbullah if they could. And they are already committed to disarming the organization under the November 2024 ceasefire arrangement. Is it a case that they are not capable of doing this, or is it a case that they fear any significant moves against Hezbollah would lead to a civil war in Lebanon?
This is a very limited commitment, I would say. The thing is that, of course, the political, the diplomatic and political efforts that are being made against Hizbullah are real, are genuine. And this specific government is actually, it's set its mind to disarm Hizbullah, but this is almost impossible on the ground. Also, the army that is being used, the Lebanese army that is being used for the purpose of disarming Hizbullah, they're basically incapable to do so. First of all, they are much smaller than Hizbullah. Second, we have a lot of Shiites in the Lebanese army. Some of them are really not feeling okay with disarming Hizbullah, which are also Shiites. So there is a lot of there are a lot of problems in the understanding of how easy it would be to disarm Hizbullah. Easy or not easy, right? So when we speak about the dismantling of this specific terrorist organization, this is almost a mission impossible for the Lebanese government itself alone. It is also a very hard, a very difficult mission for the Israeli army as well. But to leave only, to leave the dismantlement or the disarmament of Hizbullah only to the Lebanese army and the Lebanese political regime would be almost as doing nothing, because it is not capable of doing so.
Given everything you've just said, is the only solution, and it's not a very good solution for Israel to say the least, is a long-term presence in South Lebanon again with a security zone similar to what we had basically between 1982 and the year 2000, with soldiers being attacked every single week?
The thing is that we have a limited number of solutions. We need to understand that. The buffer zone that you mentioned, it's not exactly the same buffer zone, not only in the depths of Lebanon and also in the tactics that is being used. It's a bit different. However, we need this buffer zone right now because it defends Israel. It defends de facto the northern villages and cities of Israel. And this is something that Israel has to do in order to bring the security that this region needs so much. And they are entitled to it, of course. So, yes, basically we need this buffer zone. I don't see how without this buffer zone right now things could get better. Also, the diplomatic solution is also very important. We need to understand that we need to move in both ways. The military way in order to enforce specific security measurements, and the diplomatic way in order to enable a specific path to the future, perhaps between Lebanon and Israel without Hizbullah someday.